Today's author is a philosopher, lucid dreamer, and happily retired grant writer who lives in the Bay Area of Northern California. His book series, subtitled A Mythology for the Third Millennium, contains hidden meanings and deals with questions such as, where do we come from? What is our purpose? And what is our place in the universe? His book title is Confessions of an Alien. The author believes that unlike fantasy that is nobody's truth and history that seeks to be everybody's truth, mythology is somebody's truth. And now, here is author E.T. Marshall.
Hey, thank you. Thank you all. Great to see you all here. Can you hear me all right? You can nod. Okay, cool, cool. I'm just curious, just to start off, I know a number of you read the book. I'm just curious, by raising your hand, I can see you all here. Who hasn't read the book? Just okay, good. So let me give you a brief for those that haven't read the book, what this book's kind of about. And I wrote it in 2015, 2016, and it was meant to be a mythology, but a lot of folks are looking at it like a piece of science fiction. And have referred to it as science fiction, and my feelings aren't hurt about that because there is, quote unquote, an alien in it. Okay, but again, for those that haven't read it, if you're expecting a little green person or spaceships or warp drive or ray guns or laser battles, it's not there. Okay, it's just not there. It's not part of what I wanted to say. The book's essentially about a meeting of an extraterrestrial with a singular human being, and it's about that experience, what that could be. And as far as, and now I can talk to the people that have read the book and know what I'm more about what I'm talking about. It's about the reaction of a unique human being to that relationship and how that quote unquote alien technology is now perceived by this unique human being. Okay, so just for clarification, what I would like is if you guys have questions on it, if you could do it in the chat room, and then I could read the questions while I'm doing my spiel. That might accelerate things a little bit. Does that sound okay? Some of you have already sent me some questions independently, which I appreciate, and it's wonderful. Okay, so let me see if I can get the chat. Okay, so there it is, and nobody's chatting, which is cool. Okay, so. As I said, I wrote the book in 2015, 2016, and in a sense, it has a little bit of a prophetic nature, because unbeknownst to me, the main characters' names are Donald and Vlad. Okay, and when those two names became prominent after the publishing of the book, I didn't get it, but a number of people pointed that out to me. I was frankly astounded. I mean, it was kind of like, whoa! And I wrote the darn thing. Okay, so another coincidence, which I thought was a little prophetic. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Elon Musk's Neuralink program. Just raise your hand if you've heard about it. Okay, a few of you. Okay, so what that was, and again, this is in my book, and not Neuralink is not in my book, but the concept of a robot controlled brain implantation with a very small electrodes is essentially a device that I described in some detail in my book years before Elon Musk's whole system. And apparently I went on the internet and I see he has got 70 employees there, and it's a multi-million-dollar project. And he's all enthused, but that's his thing. I just found it very coincidental that this kind of thing is happening right now. And so the technology, that the alien technology that's in the book, from what I can see, is being developed here independently of aliens and independent of my book. It's just happening, and I just it's part of the world development that I see now. A moment to talk about the alien technology that the book has. It's very simple, and it's along the lines of hard science fiction. The science fiction, if there are science fiction folks here, and you want to read the book, it's if you want to look at it as science fiction, it's hard science fiction. It is written specifically with respecting all the laws of nature. So there's no warp drive. We don't go faster than the speed of light. We respect the distances between the planets. We respect Moore's law, okay, which is developing. And so part of my thinking of the book was looking at Moore's law and where it could be ultimately going. And Moore's law, for those that don't know, basically means that technology is getting cheaper, it's getting smaller. So the technology that I mentioned in the book specifically is called a buckyball. I use that because it's round and it's something that people know. And again, to be technical, buckyballs are something that you can actually put something into and have it do things. So my idea and it's very small, of course, of a buckyball is to have a Bluetooth means of communicating, and in there, and also the ability to interface with neurons in the neuronal synapse. Okay, so that's the essence of the book. Let me see if there's any other little thing. Elon Musk, Donald, okay, and with that, I can go on at length, but I'd like it to be kind of a give and take discussion. So I'm trying to see if there's anybody chatting. No. So if somebody has a question, raise your hand and we can unmute you and do that. No? Are there no questions? Oh, there's a chat. Okay. Let's see. Do you identify? The fun part of reading sci-fi is seeing how the technology, came to be reality. Yes, yeah, that was a big part of my thinking with the book, that the existing technology that's out there right now, I think other than the book's premise of the technology, the alien technology becoming very, very small, I think that we can all grasp the fact of Bluetooth and electrical impulses, and that there are electrical and chemical impulses going between neurons, and the alien technology essentially manipulates that kind of interface and essentially creates a different reality and warps the reality. I went into a number of explanations and descriptions in the book, particularly in the time he went to Disneyland, or they went to Disneyland with the red balloon, and how language could be used and used it. And we do this now with Google and language translators, where you can put in your own words and then push a button and have that translated into any language. this is also something that's part of our technology that's happening right now. And so it's kind of a personal journey for the main character, Donald. And it's not the Donald that's in charge of all this right now, of course. Interesting. Okay, what else we got here? Do you identify with all the, well, in writing, in novels, the characters all come from the author. So there's a little bit of me in the whole thing. So of course, yes. Life imitates art in your conception of this implant, like AC Clark in Telstar type communication satellite. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That's absolutely. So again, my theme is that this kind of, if you want to call it art, let me give you a little history of my view of this book, kind of on a personal note. I actually had the vision for this book, or the technology, back in the 60s, and I was waiting patiently for someone else to write this book. And while I was waiting for somebody else to write this book, technology moved ahead, and I, getting older, and I'm thinking, nobody's writing this book. Why isn't somebody writing this book of what could actually happen with quote unquote alien technology? Meanwhile, the technology is being developed. It's happening. This is in real time. And so I just thought, well, before I croak, I better write this book. And so I did. And I'm by my career, one of the things I've done is I was a grant writer, so I figured I'd throw that in. The other thing I want to acknowledge is my time with the BIRG, the Big Ideas Reading Group. There's a number of members here who have helped me crystallize my idea as far as what you can or can't do in physical reality with quantum states. I won't go into the technology. You know who you are. You know the books we've read, and I'm really hoping that specifically my Berg friends find the book satisfying in the way that it hasn't violated any known technology. That's my hope. What else do we have here?
So Ed, we had a question in the chat. Can you give us kind of summary what happens in the book for those who haven't read it?
A summary of what happens in the book. Wow. They meet. The part of the in their meeting is that the alien Vlad does not want his cover blown that he's an alien. He works for DARPA. He's a colonel, a retired colonel in the military, who is also a doctor, and they have relationships in the Vlad takes him through various exposures to the alien technology, and basically it's just a meeting of the minds. If you want to know what happens, it's basically a book that explores this alien technology on a personal level. As far as a physical thing happening, one of the things that the character Anne, who has a medical condition, I'm sorry, I'm blanking on what the condition is, but a friend of mine had this medical condition. Maybe somebody can help me with what it induces tremors, like cerebral palsy, that kind of thing. And apparently, in the existing technology, there are implants that can be put in to minimize that. So this was part of what's happened during the book. So there was a miraculous cure. Okay, I don't know if that's enough of a summary. I mean, it's that was pretty much it. Okay.
Are you referring to Parkinson's?
Thank you very much. I'm having a senior moment. Parkinson's, exactly. I actually have a friend of mine that had the Parkinson and went through it with him as far as having the operation and having this implant in his brain. So I knew him before, and his shaking was like he was in the middle of an earthquake. And soon after the operation, it was all minimized quite a bit. So that's again reality that I brought to the book. Okay, are there more? For those who have not, can you summarize? Okay, is Commander Data an example of the end development of this? Well, I tried not to bring in Star Trek or Star Wars or that kind of or robots or artificial intelligence, which is essentially what Commander Data is. And that's for more of a science fiction thing. I meant this to be more of a personal exposure to what actually could be. So no, Data didn't. I don't see Data not happening in some time in the future, but not in my view of what's going on now, for a number of reasons. You know, I talk about in the book. I also talk about how the Rio scale, for those that have read it, which talks about how society would deal with an alien contact, and we've all heard about, you know, encounters of the third kind. Well, there are scientific people and government people and astronomers that are quote, and SETI, I could go on, that are waiting for the alien contact, okay? And mainly they're waiting for it to come, you know, from the sky in some sort of transmission. And, you know, you've got Contact, the movie that was written, and all these speculations. And from my point of view, I didn't want to deal with any of those, what I consider fanciful views of what there is. If you remember, this is kind of like, well, what would happen if you actually were in contact with an alien? That was to me a subject matter that I wanted to portray, that relationship and how it could actually be. And that was one of my main goals. It was kind of like an anti-science fiction thing, book. So if you're looking for science fiction with chases and explosions, it's not for you. Okay, let's see what else we have. Do you know magician? I love the scenes in the Magic Club. Okay, good. Yeah, and thank you for that. The scenes for the Magic Club were kind of tipping my hat to the idea that science, to somebody that doesn't understand it, I didn't make this quote up, it will be viewed like magic. And I think that part of what I'm looking at is when Vlad shows the actual magic in the Magic Kingdom and exposes it to magicians, they don't get it. So he's using his technology to show in present time what others could, even skilled magicians could interpret as magic. So that was all about him. Thank you for liking that part. I enjoyed that, especially did anybody see the Shakespeare references in the book? By hands? No Shakespeare references. Didn't see that. Or biblical references? Oh, excellent. That's even better. They're well hidden. Okay. Some members here think your initials here, ET, are an admission that you are an alien. Okay, my initials. I was, you know, I think I was alive and well before the movie came out, and that's my real name. And interestingly enough, back in I want to say the movie came out in the early 80s, early 80s. I'm guessing now, But when I was working, my fellow associates, knowing my name and my initials, had a lot of fun calling me ET. So what can I say? Another prophetic thing. Okay, there's three things. Let's see, what else? I wonder if Randy could figure out the alien tech. No, I don't think so. I don't think so because it's not part of his reality. Okay, some members here think your initials. Okay, we did that one. Yeah, I'm admitting it. Yeah, we're all aliens. You know. Okay, this light speed limit would seem to make it unlikely that aliens could visit you. Do you address the issue of how Vlad got here in the first place, or is that left unspecified? That's an excellent question. This is in the writing realm. This is backstory, and it absolutely is an issue. Depending on how much enthusiasm I get for this feedback, I'd like to write a second book, and maybe a third or fourth, whatever, to address these issues, and in my view about how how Vlad got here, and what he's doing here, and those issues, definitely part of it. But I didn't want to. I wanted to keep this book very simple as far as one thing, one small sliver of an alien technology, without going. I mean, in the book I had a visiting of another planet there, and it was just looking at it from on high to show how the technology could work. But it was not part of what I wanted to discuss, and I was basically looking to see the life of the book, what it would envision in its readers. Okay, so let's see what else we have here. Blah blah blah. Oh, light speed. Okay, NB. Boy, I don't know what NB means. Okay. Any other questions? No.
Ed?
What? I'm listening.
Hello, Ed. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you now. Thanks, Jim.
Okay, I guess I have to hold the shift key down as I'm talking. First off, I'd like to say how much I enjoyed your book. I found it highly original and very creative, and I wasn't able to anticipate where you were going with anything, which is a treat for me. Just took me on a little excursion, and I think that Vlad, it's been a while since I've read the book, so I can't remember the characters' names all that well, but I do think that Vlad had more humanity in him than most human beings here on Earth right now. So to me, that was kind of an optimistic thing, indicating where we might evolve to eventually.
I think that shows some nice insight, and if you obtain that from the book, it was meant to be. He was not somebody that landed on the lawn of the White House in a flying saucer. He's doing his thing here for his own purposes, and part of what I was hoping for is that the readers would try to imagine why he's here. Why is he doing these things? And for that, I didn't want to be clear on the explanation, because he's motivated by things that perhaps as a contemporary, we may not imagine it. I mean, his technology far surpasses anything we have, and this is just one aspect of it. And more stuff here? Oh, more?
Okay, I have another question. Why did you choose the name Vlad? It's kind of a counterintuitive name for a hero.
Again, it was done before Vlad became an issue, and Vlad Chomsky sort of there's Noam Chomsky, okay, that some of us are familiar with his writings, of which I'm familiar with too. So I wanted I wanted to echo that. I also wanted to echo the unfamiliar with Vlad and him being perhaps from Europe, from that, as opposed so old world background, and there's a whole backstory there, as opposed to being Joe, bright-eyed, blonde, blue-eyed American from Iowa. Okay, so that's part of my thinking with his name.
Excellent, thank you. My
Sure.
only excellent, thank you so much. That did come through. The alien, Earth alien, nature's name, that did come through, but didn't have enough cowbell.
Cowbells, okay. Did all the aliens in your book come from your idea in the 60s? If so, you're way ahead of time. Have you thought about other technologies that weren't in the book? Did all, okay, so the question, the word with that question is, can you guys see the questions, or am I reading so you understand the question? Yeah, okay, close enough. The basic technology of the that I got in the 60s was actually in the book, again, for those that when Vlad was looking at his high fidelity system, he was talking about recording and playing back and that kind of thing. So in that sense, that was sort of my thinking back in the 60s. And when you use the word all technology, certainly the technology with hi-fi and stereo has gone way past all of that. But interestingly enough, one of the things I'm still interested in is hi-fi stereo. And I remember having a discussion with an electrical engineer back in the 60s when transistors and microcircuits were first coming out versus tubes. And he basically said, no, tubes are wiped out. We'll never use them again. And we had actually a heated discussion over them. Anyway, so move forward 50 years, and some of the highest end stereo equipment is made of tubes. I mean, there's a whole cult of that kind of thing going on out there. So it's the technology today is awesome. Okay, so I hope that answers that question. If not, do more. Let's see. Does Vlad have a gender in the book? Oh, Vlad is a male. He's absolutely, you know. And one of the things I said there, that he was for all of our technology today, he was indistinguishable from a human being. Okay, hope that answers that. Does the alien look human? Absolutely. Does he take on a human form? Why is he on Earth? Okay, so those are really good questions from Glenda. Okay, does he look human? Absolutely. Does he take on a human form? Okay, I'll go with that. And why is he here on Earth? Excellent question. Part of the backstory and part of future questions. Those are questions I wanted to raise. Why is he here on Earth? He's doing things. He is situated in DARPA. He's a surgeon. He was in the Army. All things that you could say in a normal course of event are basically understandable human things. But of course, he has an agenda, and part of his agenda is revealing himself to the main character of the book, Donald. Okay, and that's part of why I tried to answer the question of why he's here, is in that relationship. Okay, is there a sense of how far ahead the alien technology is? Absolutely. Yep. How many iterations of Moore's law to reach the level of technology? Yeah. Okay. From Kathy. How far ahead? My mind is. I tried to address that in the last chapter of the book, as far as where we are on Earth on the time scale, where the clock that Vlad uses is galactic time, which is essentially 250 million years for a revolution. So in that sense, you might look at it like one revolution is like a year, and then there's other things in there. So how far ahead is his technology? I would say so far ahead, it would make the things that we're looking at like prehistoric right now. That we don't and I'll just say this. I'm maybe foreshadowing another book, but it's my view of since we don't have really, we're getting there with the internet, with telephones, with everybody has cameras. We are now documenting the present as it never was before. So when people look back on this time, they can say, well, we have all this video and this is what was really happening. And of course, people are storing this information. And the historians can look back on this time. This in Vlad's reality would be prehistorical times, where we're still not documenting what's going on in today's world for us, even for ourselves. Okay, I take a shot at that. And how many iterations of Moore's law to reach that level of technology? A lot. This is not something. His technology, as I see it, won't be fully understood by humans. Even when we go and have settlements on Mars, which is just, I'm sorry, as far as I'm concerned, having colonies on Mars, we are still in such, I mean, the imagination is this. We talk about star travel, but for those that know the technology, the lifetimes it would take or whatever, if you look at what the speed of light and humanity, star travel is a long way for us humans as we are progressing, in my estimation. Okay, and so we're busy, landing to the moon, which is nice. We're going to Mars. That's all right, but it's such a small part of the galaxy, of the universe. I mean, this is just like we haven't even gotten started. Okay, and that's part of what Vlad is trying to communicate. Okay. Do you think? Oh, okay, I missed that one. There's a question here about Heinlein's Stranger in a Strange Land. I like that. That's one of my favorite books. Yeah, Grok and share water and all that. I've read. I was a big fan of Heinlein and enjoyed his book. I like Dora and all of that and the feeling of a hard science fiction. So it's not a parallel. It's a feeling that I tried to transmit. Okay. Do you think Vlad would have had the technology to wipe out deadly viruses and diseases? What about preventing all? The simple answer to both questions is yes. He does have that ability. His technology that I don't talk about in this book, I perceive has that ability. Okay, and then there's that leaves the question: well, why doesn't he just do it? Why doesn't he just say, okay, here I am. All your problems are over, and here's the cure. Here's the magic bullet. Take the blue pill. Take the red pill. That kind of matrix thing. But that's not where he's at, obviously. No. Okay. How does this? Okay. Do you think that Vlad would have had the okay, did that one. Would you speak to the topic of lucid dreaming as a vital component of the book? Okay. Lucid dreaming is something that I admit Okay, I admit I've been doing for decades, and I think that's, you know, people can look at it however they want. The book is essentially not about lucid dreaming. The character of Donald, he does participate in lucid dreaming. It gave me more of an affinity to the character. It also had a strong component for me of being able to separate the dream world from reality, and that's an important thing. And I think that one of the things I tried to put in the book was that Vlad selected Donald because he could do the dreaming, the lucid dreaming, and he already had the ability to separate his view of, for instance, what happened in Disneyland, his ability to speak other languages, his ability to travel to other places. That Donald had the ability to separate that in his mind and say, this is part of an alien technology. It's not part of reality. And that's, I'm trying to echo that in the ability to say that is part of a dream life and not part of reality. I think that there are a number of people troubled by their dreams, by nightmares, by hallucinations, all of that. And I try to wrap that up in just a clear line between reality and a dream life. And then the other part of lucid dreaming that I would like to address, that I think is a reality, is that all of us, I'm sure all of us have had dreams, and all of us have remembered a dream during our lifetimes, okay? And the question I would put to you is, in remembering that dream, did it seem while you were in that dream state that it was real? And my answer to that is, yeah, it's always, I don't, when I woke up, I knew it was a dream, but while I was in it, it was like, it was real to me. And I think that is, to me, a real function of the mind's capability of dealing with other types of reality. Even what we're doing today, I'm looking at a screen with 25 people on it. I mean, think about how our brains can look at this two-dimensional little light pattern and interpret that as a type of reality, which is, to me, a testimony to what our brains are capable of, and what our brains are capable of in the future, quote unquote, in Vlad's reality. Okay, so that's lucid dreaming. Okay, and there are books on lucid dreaming, and you know, for those that are interested in, I think it's a trip. Okay, and basically harmless. Let's see, what else do we have here? Do we have lucid dreaming? You bring up lucid dreaming. Ah, Pia, you said you were waiting for somebody to write a book about the technology. Why didn't you want somebody to write a book about technology? What were you hoping to read? Yes, yeah. Okay. The answer is as clearly as I can get to that answer is writing novels. I read novels and science fiction. I used to read a lot of science fiction, and my reading now is pretty much nonfiction. And writing, quote unquote, a novel is not my bag. Okay, Lord knows I tried to do my best in making what I consider scientific concepts palatable to what I consider the general public, but basically it was written for my Berg people who say, yeah, this makes sense. Okay, but for the general public, they want to see Harry Potter, they want to see Dungeons and Dragons. In my view, they do not want this kind of a mythology. Is something I don't personally believe is something for the general public. So I gave it my best shot
No, that wasn't what I meant. I meant, like you said, you were waiting and waiting and waiting for somebody to write this book, and then when nobody wrote it, you wrote it. So I was wondering, in waiting, what were you waiting for? Like, what were you hoping, if somebody wrote this book, what were you hoping to read in that book?
I was hoping to read the same things that I wrote in this book, and,
Okay.
and that I didn't feel anybody out there, from anything I've read, is talks about an alien coming to this time and place and talking about the things I talk about in the book. I did not feel confident enough to for years, decades, to put this out, and then when I felt, again, as I said, that nobody's going to write it, that I said I should do it before I croak, and so that's what motivated me to do it. I'm thinking about two books now. I had a note here, science fiction books. One of them was Neuromancer, and one of them was Accelerando, which is a more of a contemporary thing, which talks about concepts of machine brain technology, but in a what I consider a science fiction way, a fantasy way. I didn't want to. I wanted to write it about it in a contemporary, realistic way, in the here and now. I hope that, does that answer your question, Pia? I can have another swat at it.
No, I was just wondering, because, sometimes, I wasn't thinking about you writing it. I was wondering, like, you waiting for so long to read something about something, and I was just wondering what it was you were waiting for. But it makes sense that you wrote the book you wanted to read, so thank you.
I was waiting for somebody to come out with this in science fiction or anywhere. I'm also a fan of Joseph Campbell, and one of the things that Joseph Campbell said was that our society needs a new mythology, and part of the morass that we're in right now is that it does not have a new mythology. So part of what I wanted to portray, and again, is a mythology, and there could be people that believe this story of mine actually happened. So that's a whole other thing about what people believe. I mean, people believe all sorts of things, and while they're believing these things, I thought that I would put something out there that I could believe in. I could believe in an alien like this doing things that he was doing. I could believe that. It's not lightsabers and things like that. So that's and basically I was waiting because there's so much creativity out there and so many people writing things. I was really watching and looking for something like this, and I haven't seen it. So I just went, okay. The clouds opened and said, you better write this thing with your unique point of view, and that's what I did. That was my motivation. I really wanted somebody else to do it. I really did, because to me it's a huge amount of being somebody else to write this thing. However,
hello, Ed.
Yes. Okay.
It just struck me that for a new mythology, could it be that mythology crosses over into plausible reality by the bridge of science fiction?
Absolutely. And that's why some folks view this book as a work of science fiction, and my feelings aren't hurt about it at all. But it's not listed under science fiction, but maybe it should be. I'm game. And science fiction, of course, goes out there and predicts all sorts of things. I'm a big fan of Asimov, and I was privileged to have seen him at a meeting when he was old and I was young, and that was a highlight. Okay, let's see. Okay. Lucid, but maybe lucid dreaming is also alien tech. Lucid dreaming, as far as I'm concerned, is not alien technology. It's been around. It's been around. You can check it out on Google. There are books written on it. There are conferences on dreaming about it. It's also part of what some psychologists and psychologists use to, which I alluded to in the book, use to help people, because and so there's a question here: what is lucid dreaming? And basically, there are dreams. They're going on in our dream world, whatever, and some people remember them and some people don't. Okay, so part of lucid dreaming is it's a conscious effort to remember your dreams. That's sort of the step one. In order to do lucid dreaming, you have to remember what your dreams are and wake up saying. And some people have notebooks by their beds and write their lucid dreams, because the lucid dreams and all dreams tend to disappear. And so part of that is it. Okay. Then when you get into, I would say, advanced dreaming, some people have the ability while they're dreaming to actually be aware that they're dreaming and to actually take an active part in that dream. In other words, if they want to dream that they're having a fabulous meal at some fabulous restaurant with some fabulous people, they can go poof and have that happen in their dreams. That takes a lot of time and effort to do that. That was part of my personal journey with lucid dreaming, is to be involved with Vlad as a character that comes and recurs to me, and doing the things he do. It's really quite an experience. Okay, hope that answers lucid dreaming. Why did you choose the name Vlad? I think I answered that question. Reminds me of spies hiding in plain sight, just as spy might. Yeah, it's old world. Again, I'll just briefly repeat what I said. Vladimir Kamsky is a takeoff of Noam Chomsky, and Vlad is just old world. I didn't want to do the blonde hair, blue eyed, which is basically the Star Trek hero of young Captain Kirk as the hero. It's the book was very much meant to be anti science fiction. Whatever science fiction is, with that part of fantasy and chase scenes and all that glitter, I didn't. It's not part of the reality that I see. It's entertaining. All that's good. And just specifically for those that read the book, I use the technique that I've never seen of click. There it is, click. Okay, poof, and all of a sudden your realities change without going through what I consider the 2001 mind trip, with all of that stuff, and it was also echoed in the Contact. In other words, going from one reality to another. Well, that's got to be something that's very exciting. I don't think so. I think it's click and you're there. Just like our minds are adapted to clicking a TV set and switching the channels. Are we bothered by that? Do we have to go through whiz bang and fancy colors and light shows to get to the next channel? Excuse me. Our brains are capable of going through channels as fast as we can click them. I mean, and that is one of the concepts I tried to bring forward. Just click, poof, you're there. And the first time that Donald experienced a new reality, I tried to make it clear he didn't even see that he was in it. He says, like, what happened? Nothing happened. Okay, and then Vlad said, okay, ye of little faith, I'm quoting myself, ye of little faith, and then things started to happen because Vlad did not want to blow Donald's mind, so he basically gave, when folks are asking, well, what's the book about? It's a gradual of Vlad's gradual unveiling of a part of his alien technology and a human reaction to what that could be. And sometimes it was a little bit tough to take, that he was throwing concepts at him that we got like, wow, what does that mean? Where does this 40,000 year to now time frame fit in? And Vlad at the end of the book is just throwing stuff out there. And the question is, with the reader, how much does the reader pick up? How much does the reader really want to bite off of dealing with an alien out here? And we're over here, even though we think this is all wonderful, with a very primitive technology. So that was part of my goal. Is there a question? Chris, did you have something? No. Okay. Was there a question somebody wanted? Because I'm still going with this. I know there's a question of takeaways, Susan. Okay, there's a smile. Okay, define lucid. Why do you choose the name? Okay, does Nova Dreamer have any similarity to? Okay, the Nova. Okay, but the Nova Dreamer, and I hope I'm getting this right, is a mask you wear. Is that what you're talking about? A mask with lucid dreaming?
Hold on. I'm talking about. You mentioned Nova Dreamer when Donald was talking to Rita, and she had introduced a device called Nova Dreamer where you can get into your lucid dreaming.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so we're talking about the same thing. The Nova Dreamer is actually technology that has been in the lucid dreaming world for at least 10 years. And you could go on the internet and buy one. I personally have used it and have used it for a long time, and it's helped me with my lucid dreaming. And basically how it works is this. I think it's just it looks like a sleep mask. You just put it on. It's got batteries in it, and what it does, and it's programmable. You can do all sorts of things, but essentially what it does is it has a sensor in it that notices your rapid eye movement, REM, which is the normal part of sleep. And REM is when you're dreaming. That's, you can look it up. I mean, it's all old technology. So what it does is it senses that you are in REM sleep, and then you can program it either to do various sounds to kind of put you in, to make you aware that you are in a lucid dreaming state, or the other thing, it can have a variety of lights, usually red lights, that can go off in the mask while you're wearing this. And basically, my experiences when I was using it is, boy, I'd be in lucid dreaming, and I'd be having this really great time. Okay, my eyes are going. Of course, I wasn't at the time. I wasn't aware I was in a lucid dreaming state, and the little lights would go off, and I'm going, oh, excuse my French. I go, wow, here I am, and now I can go and say, this is not reality. I'm in a lucid dream. I mean, the red lights are going off, and I go, well, let's have some fun with this. And it opened up a whole universe of thoughts and experiences. So the simple answer is yes, it is something that is part of our existing technology right now. Okay, not part of fantasy. Okay, and the okay. Let's see. Blah blah blah. Sally, did some of the ideas of this come to you while you were dreaming? Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. But mainly the idea of the technology came from my vision that I had in the 60s. And I was just watching, I go, this is something, I mean, the 60s, this is before the internet, before you can imagine what it's like in the 60s. And it also goes back to, well, why didn't you write the book, back then? I mean, what are you waiting for? And I was just doing normal things, a career, children, grandchildren, blah, 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 and watching the technology go. And I'm watching the technology evolve in ways that, in my opinion, I kind of foresaw that this was going to go this way. And to have this conversation today, from where it was in the, what I was thinking about in the 60s, people would definitely look at that kind of conversation or a book back then as absolute science fiction if I was writing about the technology that we have today. So that's just a personal journey. And so I am so happy about being able to have written this and express these ideas. I feel very satisfied, however it came up, even though I'm not, quote unquote, writing was not my shtick. Okay, so here, and of course, a big far cry from grant writing. Okay, it's a very old name, generally understood to mean leader. Yes, true. So is that very particular? Yes, Neuromancer. Yes, absolutely. Your book on network brains. Absolutely. Yeah. That's not part of the book specifically, but it is part of something that is in the realm of Vlad's technology. Absolutely. And absolutely. But again, it's contemporary. Okay. Is this book your mythology? Absolutely, my mythology. Yes, that's it. That I want to share with folks. And again, since there's a question about mythology. Again, mythology versus science fiction. Most people do not believe that science fiction is real in the here and now. Okay, there's no belief of the Star Wars thing here now. Okay, I don't. Maybe with few exceptions. Okay. But mythology is, I was hoping that some readers would give a pause to think that, you know what, this could actually be true. And in that sense, there's where the mythology is. This relationship with an alien, is this a plausible alien? Could this happen? Whatever, okay? Could the interface happen between Vlad and Donald, but could other aliens be here having relationships similar to this in the here and now? And has it happened in the past? So those are questions I hope to raise, okay? Let's see, what else do we have here? Do not be a leaf. Do not be a leaf. Do not believe. I don't understand what that means. Do not believe? I don't understand. We'll have to come back to that, or you could answer it. I don't know what that means.
I think it's a word play or something.
It is. I decompose the language. It's cryptic. You can ignore that. Just believe, the be, leaves, be a leaf.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I just thought that the pagans were offended by Romans who conquered them, so they patronized them, say, oh yes, I believe you, God bless you, which is, be less of you. Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. And people absolutely, in the mythology sense, people absolutely have their own beliefs. And in that sense, in a Bayesian way, for the burgers, their beliefs center what they see and how they see the world. And this is part of what I'm trying to, in a very humble way, trying to say, well, suspend your belief. Is this possible? And is it possible that your view of the world may change? That's what mythology is. And frankly, in my view, we are proceeding right here and now to create Vlad's technology. Whether there's somebody going out and saying, you will do this, or it's happening naturally, okay? And part of people have asked, well, what's Vlad's motivation? Part of it is him just observing our dealing with this technology coming to fruition. So that's my point of view. Okay, what else do we have here? Lucid dreaming, aware that you are dreaming while in the state. Yes. What Marshall is saying. That's what I'm saying. Yep. Okay. Good. How does your virtual reality fit into this concept of changing channels in your mind? Could it help in imagining new? Absolutely. Frankly, every time we see a TV show, every time we read a book, we go into another reality. It's, we even have words for it, escapism. That's what we do. Computer games, a multi-billion-dollar industry of going into another reality with other people and groups of people to experience another reality. I keep going back to our minds are capable of doing it. I mean, who figured, okay? But here it is. This is our reality now, okay? So virtual reality, absolutely. So that's a, Judy, I hope that answers your question. And let's see, do we have more? 12, no, 2, okay. And if you drink 1/4 cup of coffee just prior to sleeping, I will lucid dream. Otherwise, it happens randomly. Okay, let me talk about specifically coffee. Okay, there many of you know I have given up coffee and caffeine completely for at least the last year, and that has changed. Coffee is a powerful drug. And I'm not up on a soapbox saying anything about coffee. I'm just giving you my own personal point of view and my own experience with it. My mind has again changed. Yeah, it's okay. You drink. I'm not on a soapbox about it, and I don't think there's anything really bad that happens when you have coffee, at all. In fact, there's scientific things that say it's good for you. From my own personal view, it's a powerful drug. And I'm not on the soapbox about drugs either, but that particular drug is something that keeps me away from perceiving the world as it is. I can elaborate on that, but it's enough that I don't do it. And if there's some coffee, sometimes it's in ice cream, I don't even aware of it. I can feel it, and it really affects me in not a good way. So that's my own personal thing. And if drinking a 1/2 cup of coffee before you go to sleep helps you with your lucid dreaming, I say God bless you. I think the more people that do lucid dreaming, the better. Okay, then I'll have more buddies to talk to about lucid dreaming. Okay, otherwise it happens only randomly. Okay, Vlad and Donald are doing astral travel together in lucid dreaming states. Would you come on the interplay of astral time travel and lucid? Would you come on the interplay? Would I personally?
Comment, probably. I think he meant.
What?
I think they meant comment, maybe, yeah?
Yeah, that was a typo for comment. The NT got dropped.
I did mean comment.
Comment. Okay.
It's the way it's separated on the lines.
Okay. Okay. So that's good. Let's just say they have Venn diagram interfaces. I think that people that are practitioners of lucid dreaming, there is an interface with astral time travel. I have been a participant in noetics of other groups involved in astral travel. I've known people. I've known people that have said that they have astral traveled and have listened to their experiences and I guess my bottom line is with the interface between those, all of those experiences are perceived by us by our minds, however you want to define that, and the more your mind is open to the possibility of lucid dreaming, which I think is a real thing. It's a real state of your mind. And if you experience astral time travel, you can do that, in my view, during lucid dreaming. Okay? Where your mind is during astral travel, that's all to me an individual kind of perception. Okay? And there are groups today that are into that kind of thinking. I'm more of a lucid dreaming, scientific, real experience person, author. Okay, what else we got here? One need not be a lifetime writer to produce a piece of written art. Well, thank you, Joe, and nice to see you here. Absolutely, and I'm happy that I produced this work of written art and share it with you, and I appreciate that. Very good, thank you. Chris, how do you choose Paul Cry for the name of Vlad's planet? Oh, that's a really intimate answer. Okay. That is my second son's name, Paul Christian. That was I named it after him, Paul Christian. The letters, and I was thinking about that, and I just said, okay, so there it is. And Paul, if you ever get a chance to listen to this, you're in the book. Okay, so that's that. Thank you. Okay, so is Vlad really there, or is he part? In the book, he's really there. That's good, because it has to do with, is the whole book a lucid dream, which is part of a movie that was done with several layers of a popular movie. I forgot the name of it. And in fact, I allude to it in the beginning of my book, which is something that you can look at if you read the book in a way that it's all a dream. Not my intention. I meant the book to be reality as much as I understand reality. Okay, that's my intention. In fact, it brings up another issue with the hologram view of what reality, and this is in physics and with our Berg group a little bit. You know, are we all living in a hologram? Is this a multiverse? What is this? Is this reality, or is this just a dream? Or are we just a projection of all these things?
You have to define reality first, then, for us to have a discussion, because you can probably define reality in a way such that it's a multiverse.
Yes, you could define reality as a multiverse. I wanted
to define reality such as that would prove that we're living in a multiverse. I mean, it all depends on the definitions at this point, right? Because we don't know.
You are absolutely correct. I tried to keep multiverses and a holographic universe outside of the book, because did I need to say more? Okay, enough of that. I was trying to be as simple as I could with the concepts. I tried to. Okay, South American indigenous who gave us coffee consider our use of it to be an aberrant addiction. They only use it for religion. If that's true, then God bless them, because they have the South American indigenous use other drugs in addition to coffee. I mean, you know, the writings of Castaneda, Journey to Ixtlan, blah blah blah, all that stuff. The drug culture and how we deal with it is also part of our reality. I personally did not want to bring that into this book either. I brought food into the book as far as sensing food and that, And interestingly enough, there is, to me, as my mind is wandering now with these great questions, there was a scene in Peter Pan, okay, where he's in Never Never Land, and they're eating, and all the little kids are eating around the table, and they're using their imagination as to what this food is and what it tastes like. And now that I think about it, that's the only time I saw that I can remember where that kind of, I mean, Peter Pan, of course, is a fantasy, but the idea that you can imagine what the food is tasting like, and it's different than quote unquote what the food tastes like. And in one of the scenes, I tried to make that clear that Vlad's technology, you could be eating sawdust, and it could, with his technology, it could taste like filet mignon. Okay, so that's an aside.
Isn't they doing that in the Matrix also when they eat that goo?
The Matrix is a whole other reality that has its own technology. Again, it's more of the lightsaber fantasy, dodging bullets and doing that stuff, which I'm not. Okay, two things. One is, I can go visit the Matrix and its technology in my lucid dreaming if I wanted to, okay? The other thing is that reality is part of a fantasy that could happen in virtual reality with the Matrix. I mean, it's just one aspect of it. And so what I wanted to do was have the technology explored and the interface with an alien saying, this isn't a TV, this isn't a Matrix, this is something that you're experiencing in real time. As much as I can show this to you, and then you're reacting to it, like, I mean, just consider the experience difference when you come back from a movie or wake up from a dream and go, whoa, I'm glad that wasn't real. I mean, or a nightmare. Imagine if your life or all your dreams were nightmares. That's a whole other thing with lucid dreaming. Okay, so thank you, Joe, for that. Inception is absolutely the name of the book. I refer to it in the beginning of my book. Maggie, this sort of reminds me of Richard Bach's Illusions. Absolutely. Alien celestial being teaching a human being. Absolutely. Yep, there are hints of that all over the place. Yep. One could argue that the Matrix, ID, lucid dream, but for only those take the pill. Right, only those who take the pill. In my book, I tried to make it clear there was no pill. There's no pills in my book. I tried to make it clear that Vlad gave Donald a choice. He asked his permission very clearly to say, I will change your reality. I'm going to tell you to do it. I'm going to ask your permission to do it. Donald gave his permission. That was very clear. And pretty much every time he did it, Vlad asked permission to do it. No doubt he could have done it himself, as he did in the magic castle. Okay, but he wanted to make sure that Donald understood that Donald was in control of this experience and could end it. And it was a clear demarcation between the artificial world of that Vlad put out there and Donald's real world. And Donald had tough time getting his head around all that with his own memories. Okay. Reminds me, Matrix and nobody else? No more questions?
I would add the comment that last night I did have a lucid dream. I was dreaming that I was eating a 5-pound marshmallow. And when I woke up, my pillow was gone.
Oh, that's the interface with reality. I love it. Yeah, right. Well, use a smaller pillow. Okay.
So I can get aware that I'm sleeping, you know, that I'm in a dream, but then I always just use it to wake myself up. So I've always thought that messing with your dreams was a bad thing because you're dreaming for a reason, right?
It's a journey. I have been in lucid dreaming conferences, dream conferences, and also tried to mentor people that wanted to get into lucid dreaming. And one of the issues that is raised by them personally is that they ended up having bad trips where there were scary things that are in their subconscious, because basically what you're doing in lucid dreaming is you're having access to your subconscious. And there are a lot of Freudian, Jungian things that are going on there that suppress your subconscious, that you don't want to have access. And there are all sorts of mechanisms to protect those things. And Lord knows that psychologists and psychiatrists are getting an awful lot of money delving with those problems. It's not my role to do with that. It's lucid dreaming is not for everyone, and certainly when I was first going through the lucid dreaming, there were all sorts of scary barriers to deal with, to feel comfortable with that, and the barriers are all in your own mind. So it's not for the weak of heart, frankly. Just like getting old is not for the weak of heart. Okay, there's more questions here. This is nice. I'm really having a nice time with you guys. This is very nice. Let's see. What else? Inception, sort, argue, matrix, giving people a choice about new reality. Have you seen that concept in Greg Egan's novel, Dysphoria? I haven't read that. People can argue, agree to temporary change of aesthetic sense to appreciate new art, but then have to revert to their original sense before deciding whether to make the change permanent. Yeah, we have our own views of reality. Absolutely, each and every one of us here has our own view of what is real and our own concepts. I mean, we make this reality in our heads, and we interpret what's out there. I mean, it's going on. We don't have any choice about this. So what we take back from an experience with astral traveling, or with lucid dreaming, or with watching The Matrix, or reading a good book, we can actually carry that into ourselves, and that will change our view of the way we see things, the way we see other people, the way we interpret words. It changes our reality. So, of course. Oh yeah. Oh yes, Kathy. Okay, there we go. Oh yes, Kathy. Okay, so yeah, but not real psychologists. Okay, I'm not going to go into real psychologists. That's hitting too close to home. Okay. So,
Ed?
yes.
Ed?
Yes.
I'm not a psychologist, but I play one on Zoom. And I should preface these statements by saying they're not a joke. They're real to me. We've talked about this lucid dreaming thing quite a bit before during our Berg meetings. But many years ago, when I was reading the Castaneda books, which I found quite interesting, but a slightly bit implausible, I came across the technique for inducing lucid dreaming. If you are able to look at your hands, then you assume control over your dream. And after a few lucid dreams, I was able to look down at my hands and see them. and to begin to control my lucid dreaming. And I could float through the air and do all sorts of stuff that I couldn't do normally. But the third time I tried this technique, I looked down at my hands. I happened to be playing the piano in my dream, which I can't do in real life. And my hands turned into these ugly claws, and I had to look away. And later I interpreted this as my subconscious, some kind of a subconscious mechanism was dissuading me from trying to control my dreaming. So I lucid dream often, usually in the morning when I'm waking up. I know I'm in a dream, and I just sit back and enjoy where it is going to take me. And I know it's a dream, but I don't try to control it anymore. So if that's valuable to anyone else who does lucid dreaming, there you go.
Jim, maybe it was trying to dissuade you from learning to play the piano.
Yeah, the interesting discussion about lucid dreaming, but I didn't want to make the book about lucid dreaming. Lucid dreaming is just a touchstone to get to this other, what I would consider hard science technology that Vlad has basically exposed Donald to, a piece of it, and said, well, you know, I'm here, I'm doing real world things, I'm a surgeon, I'm gonna help your friend Anna with her physical condition. I wanna do nice things for some people. I want to show you a trip. In the last part of the book, he comes across these three people that he had a dealing with before on the way to San Dimas, and basically blows their minds and stops their auto. And the reason I put that in is the power and the ability of this alien to do things is to me frightening. And I wanted to have show a glimmer of that, just a little taste of it, because the book has an ominous title as being Confessions, and to me, Vlad has his own ethos, his own sense of right and wrong, his own view of what's good, and it may not particularly line up with what we might think is good or bad. And some of his actions, like the one at the end of the book, to me are a little questionable. And I just wanted to put that out there as saying, you know, what does he have to confess? What is it? Because so far, this doesn't seem like anything bad. I mean, this is okay. He's going around doing some nice things and all this stuff. But what is it there that he is not especially proud of? So, or that we would think that in our views, he shouldn't be doing, okay, and that he's actually done, okay, and there it is. That was one of the questions I wanted to raise for future. If I found interest in what Vlad was doing now, maybe folks would be interested in what he would be doing in a future book. And my thought for a future book, for those, you can get a heads up, is a book on time travel and how it works, because that is part of Vlad's technology. All within the scientific understanding that we have right now, taking into account causality and not being able to do anything faster than the speed of light. For those that know what I'm talking about with causality, with our Berg group, okay? And again, I tried very much not to be too technical in the book, keeping it to a buckyball. Okay, that's it. That's the essence. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Oh, this is nice. Reality is the perception, biofeedback, and coffee. I talked about that. Ed, it was.
Yeah, maybe Chris wanted to actually make some more comments, huh?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I wanted to make comments on Nova Dreamer. And you said that lights appear when you're in the REM state, and it's very similar to biofeedback. Biofeedback, you can shape, use the mechanism to shape with sounds to keep you at the alpha theta border, which is where REM sleep is happening. And the theory is that if you spend a lot of time there and keep being reinforced to stay in that state of REM sleep rather than go into deep sleep, then you will have what happens, the volume goes up. It's basically like practicing and amplifying the waves at that point, and at that point you will have probably have a better chance of lucid dreams. But and it brings to mind the comment we had about coffee, that I think if you're drinking coffee, it's going to prevent you from going into deep sleep and probably keep you in the REM state for a longer period of time. And at that, you may increase the amplitude of the waves in REM state. That's another biofeedback. The coffee is another biofeedback mechanism. So that they all kind of relate. But I think the key thing is that when you go through REM state and you practice staying there for periods of time, different than your normal cycles, that you will have a better chance for having lucid dreams.
Yes. Having a better chance of having lucid dreams is something that's very individual. And there are all sorts of scientific books on dreaming, on lucid dreaming, on wave technology, biofeedback devices, of which I have opened myself to many of them, okay? So the issue is, it's kind of like a muscle in my analogy of, you have this muscle that allows you to lucid dream. And we all have it, but it's kind of like, well, how do you do it? It's like one little step at a time. And for some of us, it's easier than others. And if coffee does it for you, live it up. If a lucid dreamer mechanism does it for you, there are things online that can do it. If they're personally, what I do now, okay, because I am really into this. And so every night, I'm very careful about what I do before I go to sleep. And so I want as pleasant an experience as I can. And so there are a number of movies that I enjoy watching, and people I enjoy watching. So for 20 minutes before I'm about to doze off, I go and watch and listen to these pleasant experiences with pleasant people. And it varies. And I find that just before I go to sleep, poof, shut the TV off, shut the sound off, poof, off I go. And damned if they aren't there in my lucid dream. And this isn't only one. Okay, so that's a whole other life, a whole other dreaming life. Okay, so back to Frank. Frank, hello, glad to see you here. So I want to answer your question there, Frank, specifically dealing with my my participation in Berg. He says, it was good to hear from you today. More than we've heard in 10 Berg meetings. Yeah, okay. So it's nice that I have this captive audience, but to be, and some of you will know what I mean. Sometimes it's tough to get a word in edgewise with this group, okay? So I'll just leave it at that. And I'm glad, this is kind of like a mini Berg meeting. And of course, I'm inviting everybody to come to a Berg meeting and read the books. Although the next book is about Edward Snowden, which isn't too technical, interesting book, but it's not usually what we usually read about is, quantum states and other Berg things, which are on. I'm doing a plug for the Berg, which is online, and you can see all the readings from the last years. And thank you for Chris for setting Berg up and doing it. And it's really nice. It's very nice. Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Yes. And I'll pay you for that Berg ad at the next meeting.
What?
I will pay you for that Berg ad at the next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. I have to go.
Okay, thanks for the question. Bye-bye. Okay. The closest I've experienced to real-world lucid dreaming was using creation tools in VR. Yeah, there are things, there are websites now, and one of them, there's a dream website on the internet that you can download, which basically monitors your dream. You have your cell phone, you put it down next to where you're sleeping, and it will listen to your sleep, and with its algorithm, it will make a sound when it thinks you are in a lucid dreaming state, and do other things. So the technology's out there, and it's just something I've been following. And I enjoyed VR. I have an Oculus thing that I do or have done.
Actually, could we ask Nick if he uses Oculus or something else for those kinds of tools? How do you access those tools?
Go ahead, Nick.
Sure. Yeah. No, I've had many generations of VR headsets and stuff. I just put a link to one in the chat there. That's a product by Google. If you have a headset, it's like $20 or something. It's called Tilt Brush, which just allows you to paint in 3D, right? So with all these
that's great.
Tools, yeah, all these different tools. You know, I use VR for industrial design, so there's other software that's like very exacting, but just the freeform creation sort of thing is great. And you know, the one that I have now is an Oculus Quest, which is notable because it doesn't require any computers. It is completely just wireless. Don't have to hook it up with wires or anything. You know, you have to have wireless internet or something, but no computers. So it's very freeing to use that. And those are like $400 or $500, but you know, you can watch movies on them, but also do all this creation stuff. And I don't really use it for games, but I've heard you can do that too.
Excellent, thank you.
So I'm looking at Scott's comment here about Vlad the Impaler, and let me see, experience. Let me get this. He confesses that he was Vlad the Impaler before he learned to be nice. Yeah. He definitely was not Vlad the Impaler. Okay, it's a bad boy, holding back the Mongols. Remember, Europe was thankful for Vlad the Impaler, and look how they rewarded Vlad the Impaler if you know his history. They didn't do nice things to him either. Okay, but that's a whole other part. And Vlad, in my point of view, I would be happy to have Vlad as my friend. He is in my view, the character, because he's going to go do these confessions, is someone that could be viewed by contemporary society as somebody that we would turn our back on for doing all these things that we would consider bad. Okay, but that's a whole other metaphysical issue that I didn't want to get to in the book. Okay, the closest experience. Okay, confessions. Okay, these are great questions. There's that. Could someone post being info? Sure. Okay, there's right. Chris, you're doing that, posting the link to
got it.
Berg, so that people can get on Berg from here.
Yep, the link is in the chat.
Last week, I had a borderline lucid dream. I had a strong suspicion that I was dreaming and tried to test it, but the test seemed to indicate that I was awake. I'd have to know what the test was. I don't know what that test. Do you want to elucidate on what the test was?
Sure. What I've been told is that in a dream, if you read something, read a sign, and then go back and look at it a second time, it won't have the same text on it.
And that would tell you what?
That would tell you that you're dreaming.
Okay.
If you try to read something twice and it's changed.
Yeah, that is something that's been in the lucid dreaming literature for decades. I allude to it in the book where I have the main character, Donald, have a card that he got from his from Rita, who's his counselor, therapist, that says, you are dreaming or not dreaming. It's a little printed card that he had in his shirt. And the idea is if he could read that, then he was not dreaming. It was a test. And this test wasn't made up by me. This was part of Eastern culture that they use in their mind meditations and their view of dreaming. And the story goes that if you while you're in a dream state, you cannot read things, okay? Because whatever it is, it's a test, and I'm very familiar with that test. I have to confess to you, as an individual, long-time lucid dreamer, it ain't necessarily so. Your mind has enormous capacity to do its own thing, and to have somebody say a rule like you can't read this stuff is not entirely true. The other thing that I would share with you, if or any of you, which is a really trippy thing to do, is while you're watching, while you are lucid dreaming, in your dream, watch a television set. I mean, the wheels just go on. Okay, so let's see. Are there more things?
What I actually did in the dream was I pulled a book off of a shelf and opened it to try to read it, and it seemed to me that it contained lots of complex information like a real book would, and that's why I said the test failed. But I think what actually was happening was that I couldn't read it, but I dreamed that I was able to read it, sort of, if that makes any sense.
Well, it makes sense to me. But you know, it's kind of like with people that do lucid dreaming and maybe astral travel, there's a vocabulary that happens that unless you've done it, you know, I mean, if you've never seen the color blue in your whole life and you try to describe it and you go, oh, that's blue. Somebody that's seen blue before, they know what blue is. But if you haven't seen it, it's not there. And if lucid dreaming is not part of your experience, you know, say la vie, it's okay. You can function in the world just fine. Thank you very much. I think it's good, but it's definitely a positive thing in my life. So, any other questions?
I find that I become aware that I'm dreaming when I can't use my my brain, or I can't think logically in my dream, or I can't speak out loud. Like no sound is coming off, and then I'm like, I'm dreaming, whatever, and then I move on. Is that like, I don't know.
Well, everybody has their own experience with it, and it's a process. And if you want to refine it, you know, my view is like a muscle. You got to work at it. And the simplest thing, if you're into, again, my book is not about lucid dreaming.
No, I understand, but it seems like the discussion has taken a turn now after 2 hours. So that's.
Oh, I'm okay with it. I'm okay. I'm just a happy camper here. You know, this is wonderful. But if you want to progress along the line of lucid dreaming, there are books written on it. There are machines. The most useful thing that I was doing was having a notebook by my bed with a pencil, and as soon as I get up, I'm right in the middle of a dream and start writing what that dream is. It's also a psychiatric therapeutic technique where dream notebooks where your therapist would want to see what your dreams are and use that as a touchstone for therapy if you're having trouble, especially with nightmares. Okay, so this goes back to Freud. So it's not a simple process at all. But if you want to pursue it, that's what I would recommend is to have a notebook and start writing down your dreams. And in that sense, you are forcing yourself to remember what your dreams are and putting it on writing while you can, because they disappear pretty fast for most people. In fact, a lot of people don't even know they're dreaming.
Right. I mean, is there anybody who's done it and also meditated and can tell me what the difference is?
Done it and meditated and what?
Well, I'm wondering, like, a meditation would be you're also accessing different layers of your consciousness, but it's not like, I feel like the reason why we can't remember our dreams is because there is stuff going on that it's a process, right? It's not like a done product. When you're done, you might dream about it, then you're processing stuff. Whereas like you would access this in a different way if you were meditating and accessing stuff that's like on a more subconscious level. Yeah. Has anybody done both and kind of knows?
Well, I think a lot of people, and there's been a lot of literature written about meditation, lucid dreaming, states of mind. We're living in a golden time as far as research, as far as mirror neurons, for instance, and just dealing with different states of mind and what the possibilities are. Most people are not interested in any of this. They're interested in living their daily lives. There's a number of people that are interested in meditation. Very few people are really interested in lucid dreaming. My impression is that it's kind of quirky, and it's kind of in there with maybe even the drug culture or whatever. And it's just like, no, I'm not going to do it. But it is to me a real state of mind that you can actually have if you're so motivated. And it's not an easy road to go down. It's very, very individualistic. And as I've said, a number of people that I have mentored in this have had bad trips and have been so frightened that they don't want to do it anymore. One in particular had the experience of being awakened from a lucid dream, going on with his life, and then only to find out that he was still lucid dreaming. And he was caught in this loop and got extremely frightened because every time he got up, he found out he was still dreaming. And talk about, I've had that experience, okay? But I'm cool with it, okay? I figure that's just part of the deal. But it can be a frightening experience, and I don't, hey, we're living in frightening times, right? This is only par for the course.
Well, hey, Ed, Maggie has a question from the chat.
Do you have an ultimate goal? Oh, I'm there. I am nightly, basically living in heaven. I mean, all the things. I'll give you one example. In this pandemic, okay, we're all self-isolating and all this stuff. So where does my mind wander? I go and I visit these mega yachts, the ones that are $500 million, okay? And so one of the things I do before I go to sleep is I visit these mega yachts that are out there in St. Moritz, or in Saint Tropez, on clear blue water, great food, all this beauty around me, and I go, and so I put that on again 20 minutes before I go to sleep. And that's my experience. And I don't have to pay $500 million for this experience, okay? And one of the things that I see happening is that I'm going to make a prediction, because I want to make predictions now based on my experiences, and it looks like some of them are happening. But people will be selling their experiences. That's pretty much what they're doing in some states, but it's going to get more and more. I mean, with the Oculus, you can go and see other countries, other villages, have conversations with people, as if you're there. Our senses can be fooled into other realities. So I think.
So will that include the adrenaline rush or just the visual?
adrenaline rush?
Well, you said you can share other people's experiences, but a lot of the times an experience comes with some kind of internally chemical rush, or like you're relaxing or whatever. So, so it's not quite the experience just to watch, is it?
So let me be as direct as I can with that. One of the things I watch, and it's on the net, is downhill skiing, and people have these cameras on their heads, you know, the GoPros, and I ski. I still can ski, okay, and frankly, when I watch that camera going down the hill, my heart starts going. I get a little adrenaline rush, and I go, oh yeah, this is when I do the suspension of belief. I am moving, you know, like at 50, 60 miles an hour going down there. I wish I could ski that fast. And I definitely get the adrenaline rush. So the simple answer, Pia, is yes, absolutely. So let's see if there's more questions here. This is more.
I got a comment. I got a comment for in answer to Pia. Is there any similarity between lucid dreaming and meditation? And I think that's when I was talking about biofeedback, it used to be called electric Zen. So that state when you go to the alpha theta border and you get high amplitude is a meditative state. They're calling it electric Zen. And then you have hypnagogic imagery, and whether or not that hypnagogic imagery is called hypnagogic imagery or dreams, I don't know if there's a difference. I think it's the same state. And so that would be the analogy that I would have for between meditation and lucid dreaming.
Yeah, to me,
I know that some people say that when you meditate, you're way more relaxed than when you're dreaming, because in meditation you are relaxing on purpose, whereas when you're dreaming you are like active. You can get excited or you can get scared in your dream, like having nightmares, and so it's not as restful as when you're meditating. So
depends on how you do the meditation.
The what?
It depends on how you do the meditation.
Okay.
I think relaxation and meditation is only this tiny little part.
Okay. All right.
I'd like to add one quick comment to Ed's ski dream. Some of my most enjoyable lucid dreams are skiing dreams. I love them.
Okay.
Yeah, I loved it, Ed, when you wanted to say San Tropez and you said San Moritz. I had this wonderful idea for a lucid dream of getting the yachts up on San Moritz and combining the two. That you can do in lucid dreaming if you want.
You could do that, Scott. I misspoke. I was in both places and I misspoke.
I thought it gave a great idea.
Yeah, and maybe I'll do that tonight. In fact, there was a segment on Doctor Who where they were flying in. I think it was a new Titanic over a planet there with a boat. Anyway, that's a whole other. I brought up Doctor Who, which is a whole other thing that if you want to lucid dream and watch Doctor Who before you go to sleep, that's also a trip. So I can talk about trips I've been on and trips I want to do, and it's a very interesting, life-changing experience. There was a dear friend of mine that asked me what the takeaways could be from my book, and I guess one of the takeaways, aside from lucid dreaming, because that's interesting, is there a possibility of this alien relationship actually happening, and how would you feel about it? Is kind of, I mean, that's the basic takeaway I would like to share with anybody that reads it. Is it in a mythological sense? Is this something that makes sense? Is it possible? Does it disobey the laws of physics as we know them? And how do you feel about that? And is this something that the alien really wants to communicate to us as his view of mythology? So That's the takeaway that I would like folks to get from my book, as opposed to science fiction. Okay.
That's excellent. Excellent, Ed.
So, my friends, share the book with your friends. I know there are people that have been mailing my book to other people. I mean, it's like $6. I mean, you know, what is that? What is that with inflation? I think that's what it is. Oh, the other thing I should point out is I have republished since Mother's Day. I've republished the book because it had some changes I needed to make. So if you buy the book now, it's a little different than the book before Mother's Day. There are also books 2 and 3 that are out there. They're like $40 each. They're my books. Don't buy them unless you want to be involved in some sort of a contest, or you want to have a collector's item. Because after, my plan is, as soon as I write book 4, now I'm all enthused about it, right? On time travel, I will then discontinue books 2 and 3. So there you go. Okay.
All right. We had a question in the chat. Where do you find the book?
It's on Amazon.
On Amazon.
E.T. Marshall, Confessions of an Alien. It's out there. Okay, so it's out there, and also you might be interested in reading some of the reviews, which I thought were nice, from some of the people that quote unquote got the book. You know, it's not for everyone, and for those that want lightsabers and that kind of stuff and little green men. Nope. No little green men. An army surgeon. Okay. So any more questions? What is this bad news? Bad news with the 2020 version, July 30th? No, that's the latest version. That's good. That's good. It's all good. Anything else? No?
Well,
okay. I'll see some of you this coming a week on Saturday.
On Saturday, yes.
I can't wait.
All right.
And maybe now you'll give me a word in edgewise at Berg meetings.
No.
No, nothing will change. Okay.
Well, I want to thank everybody for coming to this SFRM meeting. Sometimes we have people join from other groups and people who are watching on YouTube. So I want to make sure that everybody is thanked for coming and staying for this great talk on the book and on lucid dreaming. And if anybody is interested in or has friends who would want to join San Francisco Regional Mensa, you can get us on our website at sfmensa.org. And as you can see here, we have lots of really interesting people interested in interesting things. So I appreciate everybody showing up today and hope to see you at future meetings. Thank you so much. And thank you, Ed, very much for your talk.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank
enjoyed
you.
your 3D presentation. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for setting
Sally,
this up.
Rita, yeah.
It's very
Thank you.
interesting.
Pia, good questions. Okay, great. Okay, bye-bye.
Take care, everybody.
And that's
Bye.
Mount Pam behind me, by the way.